unless you're a vegan, transgender, illegal immigrant sympathizer, woke warrior.
Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan, the YouTube channel that is not hosted by a sociopath, a narcissist, or a grifter. So I want to thank our viewers, as always, for sending me ideas for these video responses. I got this one the other day from someone who watches this channel. Most of us probably never heard of. Geoff Buys Cars. Sounds so random, but apparently he says he had been vegan before in the past, and the gist of why I'm responding to this video is that he's reading a story in the Daily Mail about how almond or oat milk is a fail, and his commentary is really bad. But what's even worse are the comments from people commenting on the Daily Mail's page for this horrific article. It's crazy. I can't believe how much hate, well, I guess I can, how much hate people have for just us being vegan. Just the simple fact that we choose not to eat meat or dairy products, people will hate you for this. It's a really sad and sick world, as you will see here in this video. So let's jump right in.
Trendy vegan brands are set for a wipeout following a plunge in demand for animal-free food and drink products, experts predict. So this is talking about oat milk. I'm going to do this video about oat milk, but there's a wider picture, and then there's some really funny comments on the article as well for us to dig into. So let's all have a little bit of a laugh about vegans. No, not about vegans, about veganism. Let's have a little bit of a laugh about cults, basically.
So I was about to kind of agree with him. Yeah, let's have a little laugh at vegans and veganism, provided that it is indeed funny stuff you're saying, not just hateful crap and just disguised it, oh, it's just funny. No, but then you had to go and say cults. Like, what kind of nonsense is that? How is being vegan a cult? How is being against animal cruelty and exploitation a cult? If I'm against animal cruelty and exploitation for humans, that's normal and fine, but if I have that same feeling or belief applied to animals, I'm in a cult all of a sudden? Just complete nonsense. But because there's so many knucklehead idiots like this guy, we made a shirt just for you. So come buy your official vegan cult member tee at our web store, link down in the show description. So anyway, let's get back to his rant here about oat milk being so horrible. And now he tries to show some scientific data proving how horrible producing oat milk is for the environment.
Data from the USA a few years ago showed that 76% of oat acres used fertilizers, 51% used herbicides, 9% used fungicides, and 4% used insecticides, notwithstanding the fact that some of them might have used all four. And that's in the USA.
This is a complete joke. I mean, this is completely laughable. He thinks this is some kind of strong evidence against oat milk. I mean, really, are oats the only crop in the United States that uses pesticides and fungicides and insecticides? Really, it just oats, not like, say, the most popular livestock feed in the United States, corn. Yeah, corn doesn't use any of that bad stuff, right? Wrong. Well, let's look at what these dairy cow, because this is about milk, right? Oat milk versus dairy milk. There's like way more fertilizers being used, way more of all this. 95% of corn crops use nitrogen fertilizer. That's higher than the oats. And virtually all corn crops, 96% use herbicides. And even a higher percentage compared to oats use insecticides. It just shows you how disingenuous these anti-vegan people are. They'll complain about all the fungicides and insecticides and fertilizers that are used in oat production because they have a thing against oat milk. Yet they don't even mention all the same bad stuff that goes into the production of corn and other grains that are fed to their livestock and to themselves even. It's so hypocritical. It's really, is it laughable or is it just disgustingly stupid? I don't know.
Someone else just says, I can't stand wokes and vegans lefty nut jobs.
Oh, your little baby eyes can't stand to see people who have different values from you. Oh, it really upsets you when you see people who've made a decision in their lives to not consume animal products, and that offends you. Talk about being a precious snowflakes. And this whole thing lumping vegans into this whole culture war thing of woke and lefty. I mean, veganism is not a political thing. You can be of any political persuasion and be vegan. All we have in common is, let's take a look at the definition of veganism here. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. And I've said this dozens of times on my live streams, veganism is just a cross-section of humanity. All the political beliefs, value systems are there, all the religious belief systems are there, left, right, anything you can think of, we are represented in the same proportions in the general non-vegan population. Case in point, some of our most hardcore channel members are right-wing Republicans who vote Republican, they're all about gun rights and everything. Yep, they're vegan, and they support our channel. So much for your crazy theory there.
Trans is a fashion trend. Can't wait for all these rainbow t-shirts, flags, wristbands, lanyards, football laces, bags, scarves, protest symbols, all of which are made in China, by the way, to become an embarrassing footnote in history. Bunch of flaky, spineless, easily offended words.
So not only anti-vegans against vegans and left-wing politics and wokeism, you also have a thing against LGBTQ and trans. Am I starting to notice a pattern here, guys? Let me know down below in the comments if you're starting to see it too. A pattern of hate, a pattern of intolerance. Yet this loser, this hateful loser, complains about us being like flaky snowflakes. And no, you're the one. You are the ones that can't handle seeing people who are different from you. And you make it your business to go out and say how much you hate people who are different from you. So if I see any precious snowflakes here, it's you guys, you anti-vegan haters.
As many comments don't mention that a massive amount of vegan food is manufactured using huge amounts of vegetable oil, salt and sugar, which is bad for your health.
Yes, this person's absolutely right. Vegan food did not exist until Beyond Meat and Impossible Burgers incorporated in the 2010s, and they alone invented vegan food. I mean, what does this person think vegan food is? I mean, have you never had a piece of fruit? You've never eaten a vegetable? You've never had any grains or legumes or mushrooms? I mean, that's all vegan food. I mean, yeah, you can eat a bunch of processed food if you want, and you could eat a bunch of processed food as a non-vegan as you want. It's your choice to eat a whole food based diet or a junk food based diet. Either way, vegan or not vegan. In fact, to prove my point here, Angie has written 2 books on this subject on how to eat a healthy, whole food, oil-free vegan diet, because this person said vegan foods are heavily processed with oil and sugar and salt. No, we don't have any of that stuff in there too. Let me just show you what vegan food looks like. It's high-tech laboratory stuff. You need a PhD like Angie has. No, she doesn't. Like here, let's check it out. Like we got some grains in the form of wild rice, some beans, some kale, some sun-dried tomatoes. Oh yeah, horribly processed stuff that's going to kill you. Not.
Oat and soya-based drinks are not milk, and nor should they be marketed as such. Don't remove dairy products from your children's diet. Buy organic. Children's bones need a boost for them to grow strong.
No, they absolutely don't. You're just a brainwashed person who believed in marketing propaganda from the dairy industry.
Many vegans will disagree with me. If you deny your children dairy, make sure you pay for your children to have a bone scan every couple of years to protect them against bone damage. That is a fantastic comment, and from everything that I understand on my research, and I'm saying this having been vegan, we were vegan for a little while, we used to eat Stella McCartney burgers and all that sort of crap. The research that I've done absolutely stacks up to what that comment just said. Children need dairy.
What kind of research could you have possibly done, Geoff Buys Cars? I mean, you're not a scientist or a nutritionist or anything like that. From what I can tell, you do some like peer-reviewed study. I bet you just like went on to Google or YouTube and looked for the opinion of like some shirtless, ranting carnivore influencer or something like that. But actually, there is an answer to this question, Geoff, and we don't need to look at shirtless influencers for the answer. Let's look at the opinions of organizations of health professionals. We're talking medical doctors, PhDs, nutritionists, dietitians who've actually studied the matter rather than looked at some weird influencers. And their opinion is consensus. After reviewing the scientific researcher, they're pretty much all saying the same thing. A well-planned vegan diet is nutritionally adequate for all people in all stages of life. And yes, Geoff, this includes children with their developing bones.
With a great comment here, if vegan food was so good, they wouldn't need to trick people to think they were eating real food. Just saying. Yep, very good.
Yes, all this wild rice and beans and kale and sun-dried tomatoes. Yeah, it's not real food. We're tricking people. This is fake food. I mean, again, you non-vegans have no idea what vegans eat.
Vegan, a fad fueled by a few status-competitive teenage girls, which fooled the marketing gurus forever, trying to be one jump ahead of the popular taste.
Well, last time I checked, Geoff, I'm not teenage and I'm not a girl. I'm a 55-year-old man. I've been vegan for 12 and a half years and doing wonderfully, I must add. And if you don't believe me, Geoff, I'll put a link to my blood test videos up there. You can check them out. Doing great. My doctors are very pleased with how I'm doing. And I'd love to see your blood test, by the way, too, Geoff. Just curious, you know. Anyway, back to this whole thing. Veganism is a fad. Once again, let's see what veganism is. It's a stance against animal cruelty. And not only do we believe that animal cruelty and exploitation is wrong, we actually do something about it. We refuse to consume products that are made from animals. How is that a fad? It's a personal decision that each and every one of us come to.
Fion says, this is what happens when you start to cater for the minority. Again, very good.
What's very good by bringing up a well-known logical fallacy, the appeal to majority fallacy, also known as appeal to belief, which is making an argument that states something to be true because a group of people or a majority believe it to be true. So just because the majority of the people on this planet are not vegan doesn't somehow make veganism wrong. It doesn't debunk it or anything. Or does it? Oh no, veganism just got debunked. We are a minority. Oh no, what are we going to do? But anyway, why is it wrong for a company to offer products that we want? I mean, are these guys fascists? It's like wrong somehow for a company to offer, like, say, a Beyond Burger or something like that. Like, they get their needs served. They can go out and eat a burger made with cruelty, but say I want to go out with my friends and eat a burger not made from cruelty, that's somehow wrong for a company to produce that. Again, I've seen a lot of intolerance here, and I'm seeing a hint of fascism as well.
Mike says the general public does not like being lectured to by woke, sanctimonious activists and will reject what is being pushed.
And likewise, no one likes being lectured to by an unwoke, sanctimonious, a-hole, narcissist bigot.
Then some vegan gets involved and says, oh, what about all the baby animals? And someone says, how is your guilt about all the insects and small creatures who die when yet more land gets ploughed to feed the vegans?
Typical anti-vegan nonsense, how these people who don't care about animal cruelty and exploitation all of a sudden become insect activists and rodent activists, and like vegans are responsible for all these crops that are harming rodents and insects, when the true fact of the matter is the vast majority of crops grown in the world are fed to livestock, not humans, let alone vegans. So if you insect and rodent activists are truly trying to work towards a world where there's the least amount of harm to insects and rodents, you would have no choice other than to go vegan, because that's what harms the least amount of rodents and insects. And furthermore, let's look at what the definition of veganism is once again. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation as far as possible and practicable. It doesn't say anything in here about it's a lifestyle in which no harm to any sentient being ever happens, ever, and if so, veganism is debunked. So given that there's going to be some imperfection, some incidental harm, accidental harm in the production of crops, that has nothing to do with veganism.
And someone says billions of bees are killed to produce vegan food. They don't tell you that.
Once again, same thing. Another insect activist, but is it really billions?
Literally billions of insects get murdered. Billions of insects get murdered.
So all you insect activists, we salute you for your passion and dedication fighting for the rights of insects. No, we don't. We all know you're full of crap and just using this as a stupid excuse as to why veganism is so bad. Oh, billions of insects are killed to produce vegan food. Oh, again, there's no such thing as vegan food. Just crops that you guys and your animals eat more of too.
Kate says they tried it for a year and are nearly dead from weakness and boredom.
I mean, what the hell were you eating if you almost killed yourself eating plants? I mean, yeah, it's possible to construct a completely unhealthy vegan diet, just like it's totally possible to construct a completely unhealthy non-vegan diet. Again, if you look at the positions of health organizations, they clearly say if you eat a well-planned, sensible vegan diet, all your nutritional needs will be met. I've been vegan 12 and a half years, not even close to dead yet.
Let me off the UK. Unless you're a vegan, transgender, illegal immigrant sympathizer, woke warrior, or willing to give endless money to freeloaders instead of trying to make them work, or a feminist, or somehow feel guilty about our past, our colour, or our culture, we have nowhere to call home.
See what I said earlier? I'm noticing a pattern of hate. If people will hate me simply for the fact that I made a personal choice not to consume animal products, that same kind of hatred in their heart, they apply it to not only just vegans, they apply it to, as we saw here, to LGBTQ, to illegal immigrants, to feminism, the whole thing. Anything that's against their personal value, belief system, they're fearful of it. I think it's what it comes down to is that the world is changing and these people are afraid because they're afraid of being left out, so they lash out at those who are different from them. My advice to these types is just stop being such precious snowflakes and stop trying to be so fascist and force the world to conform to your personal values. I mean, why should we have to live by your bigoted intolerant values? How would you like it if things were reversed and people like myself, vegans who are woke and all this stuff, we were the majority and you had to live by our values or else we'd be putting all this pressure on you? You wouldn't like that at all. If you're watching, Jeff, you want to come and chat with me, or if any of you intolerant bigots whose comments we talked about here want to come and chat with me, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and bring your best example, your best argument as to why veganism sucks, or just simply why you hate me. And for the rest of you guys, down in the questions or comments, let me know if you were aware prior to this video to the degree of which the kind of hate that you experience as a vegan is just a symptom of a larger problem of people who apply that hate to all sorts of things beyond veganism. Let me know if you were aware of that, or if you're starting to learn more about that. So questions and comments down below. Hit like, share this video, subscribe, become a channel member. And until next time, remember, doesn't suck being vegan.